You ever notice how you walk into a store planning to spend, like, $20, and somehow you walk out with a receipt that looks like a CVS scroll and a total of $87.43? And the crazy part is, you don't even feel like you bought anything special. Just normal stuff. Here's the thing. That feeling right there? That's not an accident. That's the middle-class trap. And most people don't even realize they're in it. Hello. My name is Liam, and I spend way too much time thinking about how to prepare for retirement. If you're someone who wants to get the most out of your dollar, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Alright, let's get into it. The middle class doesn't just overpay. They overpay systematically. Look, the middle class doesn't overpay because they're irresponsible. They overpay because the entire system is designed around one assumption. You're too busy to notice the small stuff. And that assumption is shockingly accurate. Let me give you a stat that blew my mind the first time I saw it. According to a 2023 Lending Tree survey, 78% of middle-income households underestimate their monthly spending by at least $300. $300 every month. That's $3,600 a year disappearing into the void. And here's what most people don't realize. It's not disappearing because of big purchases. It's disappearing because of tiny, invisible overpayments that compound. Convenience inflation. Here's where it gets really interesting. There's a psychological phenomenon called convenience inflation. It's the idea that the more stressed or time-poor you are, the more you're willing to pay for shortcuts. And the middle class? They're the most time-poor group in the entire economy. Let me show you how this plays out. Example, the $12 lunch problem. Let's say you buy lunch at work for $12. You do this 4 times a week. That's almost $2,500 a year on lunch. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but it's just lunch. Everyone does that. Exactly. And that's the trap. The middle class normalizes expenses that the wealthy treat as optional. The middle class default setting that costs thousands. The middle class buys everything at full price. Not because they want to. Not because they're careless. But because they shop reactively instead of proactively. Let me explain. Reactive shopping. You buy winter clothes when it gets cold. You buy school supplies the week school starts. You buy a new laptop when your old one dies. You buy flights when you need to travel. This is the most expensive way to live. Proactive shopping. The wealthy do the opposite. They buy winter clothes in March. They buy school supplies in October. They buy laptops during annual sales. They buy flights 3 to 6 months out. It's not about being cheap. It's about understanding that timing is a financial weapon. The psychology behind overpaying. Now let's talk about the part nobody ever explains. Why the middle class doesn't notice they're overpaying. It comes down to 3 psychological traps. Trap number 1, mental offloading. When your brain is overloaded, you outsource decisions. You stop comparing prices. You stop planning ahead. You stop questioning defaults. This is why the middle class pays. Higher insurance premiums, higher interest rates, higher subscription costs, higher grocery prices. Not because they can't get better deals, but because they don't have the bandwidth to hunt for them. Trap number 2, lifestyle anchoring. This one is sneaky. Once you get used to a certain lifestyle, your brain locks it in as normal. So a $6 coffee doesn't feel expensive anymore. A $70 dinner doesn't feel like a treat. It feels like Tuesday. Anchoring is why people making $80,000 feel broke. Their spending is silently inflated to match their income. Trap number 3, the middle class identity loop. This is the big one. The middle class is terrified of looking poor. So they buy new cars, new phones, branded clothes, trendy home decor. Not because they need them, but because they're performing stability. Meanwhile, wealthy people, they don't care. They buy value, not image. Here's the math that exposes the trap. Let's run a quick example. Imagine 2 people. Person A, with a middle-class spending pattern, pays full price for everything, buys convenience food, upgrades phone every 2 years, drives a financed car, pays for 8 to 12 subscriptions, total annual invisible overspending of $6,000 to $12,000. And person B, same income, different behavior, buys off-season, Meal preps. Keeps phone 4 to 5 years. Drives a used car. Cancels unused subscriptions. Total annual invisible overspending of $1,500 to $3,000. That is a potential savings of over $8,000 a year. Over 10 years, that adds up to $80,000. Same income. Different spending habits. Viewer objections. Now you might be thinking, okay, Liam, I don't have time to hunt for deals, and that is totally fair. But here is the truth. You don't need more time. You need better systems. Or maybe you're thinking, I don't want to live like a cheapskate. Good. Neither do I. This isn't about deprivation. It's about not paying the middle-class tax that companies quietly impose on people who don't plan ahead. Actionable steps to break the cycle. Let's get practical. Step 1. Identify your top 3 overspend categories. For most people, it's going to be food, convenience purchases, and subscriptions. Track them for 30 days. You'll be shocked. Step 2. Switch from reactive to proactive buying. Set reminders for annual sales, seasonal clearances, travel windows, insurance renewal dates. This alone can save thousands. Step 3. Automate the boring stuff. Auto shop insurance every 12 months. Auto cancel unused subscriptions. Auto transfer money into savings. Automation protects us from our future tired selves. Step 4. Adopt the 24-hour rule. If it's not food or medicine, wait 24 hours before buying it. This kills impulse spending instantly. Step 5. Build a default cheap option. For every category, have a go-to affordable choice. A cheap lunch option. A cheap coffee alternative. A cheap entertainment option. You'll use them more than you think. The final reveal. Here's the part that blows people's minds. The middle class doesn't overpay because we're bad with money. We overpay because we're exhausted. And companies know this. They design everything from pricing to packaging to take advantage of it. But once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. So remember, you don't need to make more money to feel wealthier. You just need to stop leaking money in places you never meant to spend it. And the moment you shift from reactive spending to intentional spending, your entire financial life changes. If this helped you out, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.